Hello, I'm Blair with Steelwedge. Today I'd like to talk about statistical forecasting and specifically what is a Steelwedge SFA. SFA stands for Statistical Forecast Analysis. At Steelwedge, one of the primary reasons we conduct an SFA is to determine the optimal level at which to generate a statistical forecast. In other words, we decide what level of aggregation across established hierarchies to run the statistical engine. When historical data is grouped at various levels, we can see different historical demand patterns which drive different forward-looking projections. The optimal level seeks to balance four objectives. First, reasonable forecast growth. Second, minimize forecast inflation. Third, minimize weighted MAPE. And finally, maximize mix relevance. Let's take a closer look at each of these objectives. First, reasonable forecast growth. Well, this is the percentage growth or decline a company would experience in comparing history to the future. We typically compare the last 12 months history to the next 12 months forecast to get a one-year growth percentage. We repeat that same calculation for 2 years. So in some cases we find that the total forecast falls outside what we would consider to be reasonable. Next, forecast inflation. This occurs when certain item forecasts are negative. In general, we don't see a value in a negative forecast of shipments or bookings. Thus, we force the negatives to zero. This has an overall impact of inflating the aggregate forecast. This tends to be more pronounced at lower hierarchy levels where the demand is more variable. MAPE is a measure of forecast accuracy, stands for mean absolute percent error. We use a weighted MAPE to emphasize the accuracy of items with greater volume. The lower the MAPE, the more accurate the forecast. Lastly, mix. Forecasting at a corporate total level might yield the lowest MAPE values, but it doesn't provide any insight into product or customer specific demand patterns. Generally, we strive to maximize the number of items or mix while balancing against the prior objectives. Wrapping up, I'd like to emphasize the importance of getting it right. Statistical forecast analysis is one tool in our chest that helps us to set us up for better statistical forecasts. Forecasts are never right, but closer is definitely better.